Hello, in this tutorial I will demonstrate how to do shadow studies in Revit using Shadow Color. Shadow Color allows you to select a different color for elements in Revit and export shadow study images and GIF animations in no time. To learn more and download the Revit add-in, visit our website linked in the description below. The first step is to set up the Revit view for shadow study. We only need to set up one view. I will make sure the view is cropped and shadows are on. Under the sun settings, I want to make sure the location is set up. And I also gonna add a scale bar to my view. In this example, I have two massing. One will be my proposed building and the second is in approved development. I also have a context model which is a linked CAD. After setting up the view, I will go to the adding toolbar and start Shadow Color. What I'm going to do next is to link elements from the view to Shadow Color and assign colors for the shadows. There are two ways to do so. We can pick elements directly from the view by clicking on Add Element. I can pick massing or Revit links, groups, or any linked CAD or SketchUp. Or we can select work sets. I will click Add Element, go back to my view, and pick the first element. The first element is going to be the top layer. In our case, is the city context. The shadows of this layer will be on top. Under Color, I can select color for the shadows element and optionally adjust the opacity. I will select dark gray. Now let's click Add Element again and select the other elements from the view. This study has three layers: the city context, the approved, and the proposed building. And now I'll go to preview image and see what we got so far. We can immediately see the view with the selected colors and the impact of the new development's shadow. On each layer, we can do a couple of things. We can reorder the elements with the arrows and decide which element will be on top. Under Action, we can delete the element. Under Color, I can assign color and adjust the opacity. I can assign color for the overlapping shadows. Under Receive Shadows, I can change the color source of shadows cast on the element. I can make it invisible as the Revit view or keep it with color. I can create an outline for the shadows by clicking the outline checkbox and changing the line width. Above the preview, I have an additional graphic options. I can override the line width, control the shadow intensity, and hide elements I hadn't picked. If we go back to the view, we can see that in certain hours, my proposed building cast shadow covering the park. I want to see the additional shadows on the park, give it a different color, and calculate the shadows area. To do so, I will create a new site using the property line. On Shadow Color, I'll select Add Site and pick the property line from the view. Under my site, I will pick a color for the shadows within the site. Let's pick red for the proposed building. I will turn on the area calculator and click on Preview Image. So here next to the preview image, I can see the area calculations. I have the overall site area. My proposed building covers about 21.7% of the site, and it's about 927 square meters. To save the settings and our selections, I can go to File, Save Settings. When opening Save Settings, ShadowColor will find and link all of our selected elements or work sets. When opening the save settings in a different file, or in case the element has been removed from the view, I can manually relink elements and sites to the corresponding layers. The final step will be to export images. I will go to File, Export, and here I can export a single image with the sound settings from the view, or I can export multiple images by selecting the time interval. We're gonna select the date, the time, and the time interval. I can also see the number of frames that are going to be exported. Under Export mode, I can choose File, or place the images onto a sheet. Under Image Quality, I can select between Low, Medium, High, and Ultra. I can also export an image with all the frames overlaid. I will leave the Superposition image checked. I have the option to export GIF animation. I will check the shadow area calculation to get an Excel sheet with the area calculation for each time frame. When selecting the export mode to be in sheet, I can select title block and layout. As you can see, I got all the images here. The name of the files will be the date and the hour. I have also the superposition image with overlaid shadows. And also I have the GIF animation. In the Excel file, I can see my site's area calculation of the shadows for each time frame. Now I'll go and export again. This time I will select to place the images on a sheet. Brevity will generate a new sheet and place all the images with the date and the time. Thanks for watching.